Port Charles had a way of holding its breath when secrets resurfaced. On this particular morning, the city felt heavier, as if the walls of General Hospital themselves remembered things best left buried, and no one felt that weight more than Anna. She stood outside the hospital entrance, coffee untouched in her hand, eyes fixed on the revolving doors. For a woman who had faced down international criminals and survived betrayals that would break most people, it was unsettling how a single envelope could rattle her so deeply. It had arrived without a return address, thick, cream-colored, and ominously familiar. Inside was a photograph she hadn't seen in decades, a moment frozen in time, a life she thought she'd outrun. Anna folded the envelope into her coat pocket, steeling herself. She'd spent years rebuilding trust, mending relationships, and convincing herself that the past no longer defined her. But Port Charles had a cruel sense of timing. Just when things felt stable, the ghosts came knocking. Inside, the hospital buzzed with its usual chaos. Nurses hurried past, doctors exchanged clipped updates, and somewhere down the hall, a monitor beeped steadily. Anna tried to lose herself in the rhythm of the place, but her thoughts kept drifting back to the photograph. The face staring back at her from memory wasn't one she could forget. Sharp eyes, a knowing smile, and a history drenched in lies. Across the lobby, she spotted familiar faces. A quiet conversation hushed as she approached. Port Charles noticed things. It always did. Anna offered a polite smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. In her office, she locked the door and finally allowed herself to breathe. She placed the photograph on her desk, staring at it like it might blink back. This wasn't just a reminder, it was a warning. Someone out there knew who she used to be. Worse, they knew what she'd done to survive. A knock startled her. She quickly slid the photo back into the envelope just as the door opened. A concerned colleague stepped inside, noting Anna's pale expression. "You okay?" came the gentle question. Anna nodded automatically. "Just tired," she replied, the practiced half-truth slipping out with ease. But fatigue wasn't the issue. Fear was. Later that afternoon, Anna found herself walking along the harbor, the wind sharp against her skin. Port Charles looked deceptively peaceful, sunlight glinting off the water. It was moments like these that made it easy to forget how dark things could get. She remembered standing in this very spot years ago, making a choice that changed everything. A choice she justified at the time, but one that had followed her ever since. Her phone vibrated. A message. No name, just a single line. "You didn't think I'd stay gone forever, did you?" Anna's grip tightened around the device. So it was real. The past wasn't just haunting her, it was actively reaching out. Back at the hospital, tension rippled beneath the surface. Whispers traveled fast, and Anna could feel eyes on her as she passed through the corridors. She kept her composure, but inside, pieces were shifting. If this person was back, it wasn't just her life at risk. Anyone close to her could become collateral damage. As evening fell, Anna made a decision. She wouldn't run. She'd done enough of that. Instead, she reached out to an old contact, someone who understood the cost of secrets and the danger of unfinished business. If her past was coming for her, she needed to be 3 steps ahead. The meeting took place in a dimly lit cafe on the edge of town. Anna arrived early, scanning the room with trained precision. When the door finally opened and her contact walked in, there was no greeting, no pleasantries. "It's happening again, isn't it?" the person asked quietly. Anna nodded. "Worse, they want me to know they're here." The implications hung heavy between them. Whatever was coming wouldn't be subtle. This wasn't about closure, it was about control. By the time Anna returned home, night had fully settled over Port Charles. She stood by her window, looking out at the city lights, feeling the familiar blend of resolute and dread. She'd built a life here. She wasn't going to let someone else's agenda destroy it. Still, as she turned off the lights and prepared for bed, the image from the photograph burned in her mind. A reminder that no matter how far she'd come, the past never truly stayed buried. And in Port Charles, it always had a way of resurfacing at the worst possible moment.